Hey guys, welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, we are going to be doing the best makeup or luxury makeup of 2020 so far. I'm super excited. I don't think I've ever done this type of video before where I've checked in about midway through the year and let you guys know the good products or the standalone products that are in each category that I've come across so far this year. Before I get started, I do want to let you guys know that this video is in collaboration with one of my really good friends, GlamGirlChelsea. So GlamGirlChelsea is a beauty channel also here on YouTube, and she is so sweet. She does these amazing thorough reviews as well. She is very much into high-end and luxury, so I know you guys are going to love her, and she's just so sweet. Like, literally what she portrays on camera is who she is really off camera. So it's always really nice to find people that just genuinely portray who they are, who they actually are. And she is someone that I look forward to watching her videos all the time. She is going to be doing this video also with her picks for the best of the year in 2020 midway as well. So there have been some other girls that have done this video. I don't know who has done it first, so definitely help me out here, guys. If you know who is the first person to start this trend, do leave their name in the comment section so I can find their video and tag it. I will leave a couple videos that I have seen as well in the description box, as well as Chelsea's, so don't forget to go check her out and subscribe to her. I know it'll mean so much to her, and she has really good taste, so I can't wait to see what she's picked out. Anyways, without further ado, let's get on to my picks for the best of 2020 so far. We're going to start with primer, and how I'm going to do this is basically, if I can find a product that was new to market this year, I'm going to talk about that, but it also has to be good. So those two things have to collaborate. If there's a product in a category that was definitely not released this year, it's most likely still new to me or new to my collection, so I will include it. But if I don't have a new to my collection or a new 2020 favorite, then I will just tell you guys my holy grail so you guys know which products I love anyway. Now for primer, this is one that was released early this year, and this I would say is the best of 2020 so far when it comes to primers and one of my favorites, but there is a catch to this one. This is the Tatcha, the Liquid Silk Canvas Primer. This, you guys, is the liquid form of their Silk Canvas Primer that was released earlier. This I do like because it has more of a hydrating effect compared to the creamy kind of thicker one that's in like the kind of solid container. This is one that is super gorgeous on the skin. However, I'm about to tell you one thing that you absolutely need to know with this one, and that is that this has to be applied first, obviously, before any base, but then you have to make sure that the base you're using this with is actually like dabbed into the skin and not brushed into the skin in swirling motions, because I do find this one has a tendency to pill up if you actually swirl a base product over top of it. That is something that I definitely think is the most successful way to use this. If you happen to find a product that it doesn't do that with, do let me know, but I have found many of my foundations have pilled over it, and it's simply because of the application technique. It gives a really nice like mattifying look to the skin, smooths everything out, but definitely has that little bit of hydration that the regular silk canvas doesn't have. So this is something that I definitely think is one of the best primers of 2020 so far. Now, honorable mention goes out to this one, which is the Glossier Futuredew. I actually hauled this one in 2020, and I do want to talk about this because, of course, this isn't a new to 2020 product, but it is new to me in my collection this year, and one that I've been very impressed with. It does give me the same kind of vibes as the Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury, but it is cheaper, has the same glow to the skin. The only difference is that my Flawless Filter is definitely more of a beigey kind of glowy product. This one has more of a pinky kind of undertone, but it still seeps into the skin with a gorgeous glowy result. You can apply this over top on the cheek with like a subtle highlight kind of look, or you can put it under your base makeup and have a glow. very similar to the Flawless Filter and certainly not the price point. Next, I want to talk about my favorite base product. Now for 2020, you guys might be surprised, but so far, I've really been wanting a lighter kind of product on my skin, something that isn't super full coverage or anything. And because I've been staying at home quite a bit, I haven't really bothered with having anything that's covering anything too much. So really is all about that lightweight feel. And for me, the best base product of 2020 so far has got to go to Tarte. It's their Maracuja Tinted Hydrator. As you can tell, mine is really deformed. If you guys have been around my channel, you know that when I hauled this, I was really surprised because it is odd looking. It was definitely pressed in the factory or in the manufacturing lab very oddly. This is clearly not how it's supposed to look, but nonetheless, I've kept it because the product has performed the same way, so I didn't feel a need to return it or anything. It just looks kind of odd. But this is a beautiful product because it's got a light coverage, can be built up to medium if you would like. Very lightweight on the skin, has that gorgeous natural kind of glowiness to it for the result on the skin. This is one that lasts all day long. Like I said, I wouldn't say that it is buildable to full, it's just buildable to about a medium, but I love it because it feels so lightweight on the skin. The shade that I have is 20N Light Neutral. Love this one. I've gone through the little mini size already, and now I'm working on this one. It is so good. All right, the next product I'm going to talk about is powder. So this is actually going to be pretty easy for me, and it's one that I am super excited about. I actually hauled this last month or so, and I've been talking about this nonstop with you guys. Although there is one thing I don't like about this product, there are a lot of things I do like. This is the Gucci Beauty Powder Matte Natural Pressed Powder from Gucci Beauty. So as you can see, super gorgeous packaging, you guys. That pale pink, gorgeous golden, like compact, it's heavy in the hand, very luxurious, and it should be because it is 81 Canadian dollars, so she's a little pricey. This is one, of course, of one of Gucci's releases. Gucci has been relaunching or revamping their makeup line, and they've kind of done like late last year, kind of early into this year for their releases. This is their first powder product, I believe, and you can see here that I've used quite a bit of it. It used to have Gucci pressed into the powder very visibly, but now because I've been using it, that Gucci is starting to fade away. I did say I had one qualm about this one, and that is the fragrance level. This is incredibly florally fragranced. It's very synthetic smelling, very perfume smelling. Does kind of smell like probably one of their perfumes. I'm unfamiliar with their perfume line, but it's got to be one of those because you would think, kind of makes sense. Because it's a heavily fragranced product, I interchange it with some of my other powders that are fragrance free, one of them being the Hourglass Veil setting powder. That one is awesome and it's fragrance free. So I'll use that one most of the time, but when I really want to like kind of treat myself, I'll go for this one, but because of the fragrance, I have to be really careful. Now the look on the skin is like it says, a matte natural. Super beautiful. It gives you that nice gentle matteness, but it doesn't give you a dried out kind of look. And that is something that for me is really important. I want to preserve the glow that is from my base products. I don't want to remove that by blotting it out. So a nice gentle set is really what I'm looking for, and this is something that does that. The fragrance is kind of a dang for me, but honestly, there's so many positives that it makes me feel excited to use it when I've let myself use it that day. The next thing I want to talk about is concealer, and I haven't found a concealer this year, nor have I found myself shopping for concealer this year. So I think what I've been finding about my makeup habits is I'm not applying concealer as much as I used to, I guess. Like I'm finding I'm not really applying it except over maybe some spots on my chin area, a little bit of spots from acne or some old acne scarring. So when I'm doing concealer, it's not that often. And maybe it's because I'm just kind of like, it's an extra step I don't want to do. Or I'm starting to embrace my skin a bit more. I have no idea, you guys. When I do put on concealer again, I'm using this one. So this is a holy grail, not a 2020 release, not new to me this year. I've had it for at least a year and a half now. This is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion. The shade that I have is 2N. This definitely has more of a peachy undertone to it, so just keep in mind. They say 2N, but I don't think it's a true neutral. It is one, though, that does a great job of covering things up, feels lightweight on the skin, doesn't feel cakey, just like you apply it, you kind of press it in with your beauty sponge a little bit, base makeup over top, and everything is camouflaged so beautifully. That's mostly where I use it, is along my jawline, kind of covering up spots. Definitely a holy grail, so sorry Chelsea, I didn't know what else to say about concealer, but I figured talking about a holy grail would suffice. Next, let's talk about some eye products. So the first thing is eyeliner. Once again, kind of going with the same kind of story with concealer, I am finding that I don't really have a new eyeliner favorite. I am incredibly loyal, you guys, to my black liquid liner from Stila. This has actually been in my routine since I was 16. I am now going on 31. If this isn't the true MVP, I don't know what is, but this has been in my life for a long time, over a decade now, so you guys know this is like ride or die. This is the Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Liner in Intense Black. I do really love a bold eyeliner look, and on the top lid, it's usually kind of like part of my signature look, or the look I'm the most comfortable in, I guess. But this is one, you guys, I can't sing its praises enough. Incredibly black, incredibly pigmented, very, very like long lasting, not one that's gonna fade away, not one that dries out in the tube after 2 weeks. Such a good eyeliner, I swear by this. It's amazing. Okay, now let's get on to my favorite mascara of 2020. This is actually a newer mascara to me and one that I'm really excited to have. This is the Marc Jacobs at Lash'd mascara. This is one I hauled recently, like I said, and it's one that has really impressed me right away. Marc Jacobs has a best-selling mascara by the name of Velvet Noir. It's fantastic, and it's been years and years in the best-selling department because it's just so, so good. But this is one that I think is gonna catch its tails because it is that good. This one does a great job of separating the lash, giving a nice bold lash, really buildable without looking clumpy. It does give you quite a bit of wiggle room with that. Obviously, you will hit a limit where your lashes have had enough, but this one does afford you quite a bit of layers before it starts to look really bad. So this is for the mascara lover, 100%. I also love how this does not flake on me. There have been some in the past that have done that. This is not one of them. So very, very happy about this. Okay, now let's talk about eye primer. Now, eye primer is one that I feel like this is definitely the clear winner, best of 2020, but I do still have a favorite, unfortunately, over this one. So I'm going to include both of them because they're both great at kind of camouflaging everything so that you don't have like the appearance of veins or anything like that. It just kind of evens out the surface, does a great job of moisturizing, it does a great job of, you know, not looking dry or crusty on the eye. But there's one piece of this one that makes me reach for my holy grail more often. So first of all, let's talk about the best of 2020. This is the Hourglass Veil Eye Primer. Like I said, there's a reason why this one is so, so good, but is just shy of my holy grail, and that's because of the drying time of this guy. It does take a lot longer to dry on the lid, and I do find it's a bit more finicky because of that. If you do accidentally apply your shadow before it's dried, I will tell you it is going to be a nightmare. It's patchy, harder to blend, not a good look. So because of this, this is why I think it's one of those learning curve type products, which is very good once you know how much time it takes to set. What I'm saying for me, it's a good 5 minutes for me, like a long, long time to be evenly set. So just be careful of that. But once you get it down, it's fantastic. Helps the pigment really pop on the eye, helps to really make it long lasting and not like, you know, kind of start to break apart, especially in the creasing. But the drying time is so annoying, and that's the reason why I'm like, like I like it. It's definitely the best of this year, but the holy grail has got to go to Smashbox 24-hour eye primer. Love, love, love this. It has the same kind of creamy kind of consistency like the Hourglass one, but dries in half the time. And oh my gosh, we definitely don't need to have more time wasted just waiting for our primer to set. This is one that I love because you can use it with powder, you can use it without, but it does dry way faster than the Hourglass one. So I find myself picking up this one instead. So even though the Hourglass one is great, I won't be repurchasing it, but it's definitely the best of this year. Now let's talk about eyeshadow. I know you guys would love to know my thoughts for this, and I want to know your thoughts too. Do let me know your best eyeshadow palette of this year, which one you think is the best purchase for sure. Now, Chelsea has said to me to try to keep it to one item. As you can see, I haven't really been doing a good job of that. With eyeshadow, I need it to be 3, and I'm so sorry, girl, I just need it to be 3. Ugh, it's really too tough to decide between these 3, so we're gonna include them all. The first one, you will not be surprised by. It is the eyeshadow on my eyes today. This is the Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2. This is one, you guys, I have been so impressed with. Love this one. Was very lucky to get the pink lacquer packaging of this one. The inside of this, you can tell it's stunning. It's definitely much more bolder and brighter than Divine Rose 1, but I love it because the shadow consistency is fantastic. It's still amazing. There is no doubt this is a good product when it comes to textures, quality of the shadows, pigmentation. Like other Pat McGrath palettes I have had in the past, definitely expect fallout when it comes to applying these to the eye. I always do my eyeshadow before my base makeup, but this is definitely one that I'd recommend doing before you put foundation on because the fallout is pretty insane. Even with the sparkly shades, obviously, you get quite a bit. Finger application helps kind of cut it back, but not as much as you would think. So I do find that every time I apply them, I do get fallout. That is the only thing to kind of expect, but once you have it on the eye, it is so worth it, you guys. Once again, I will reiterate that if you are going to be splurging on Pat McGrath, do wait until you're able to purchase one of these 10-pan lacquer palettes. You'll be much more happy with that versus the 6-pan ones that have the packaging built in. The consistency of the packaging built in ones I have found to be hit or miss. These 10 pans have always been amazing quality, so definitely wait until you can explore those ones instead. Second favorite palette in Best of 2020 is going to go to Natasha Denona. This is the bronze palette. I do think that a lot of these are going to look fairly similar on the lid, and that is probably the biggest critique that I've seen my friends say about this one. They're not as impressed with the color story. The jump between certain shades, I think most people would argue, isn't wide enough to justify having like a spot in the palette. But I think that she did this on purpose because it does appeal to a lot of people that I just think love these types of tones. Yes, they're going to be fairly similar on the lid, but it's going to make beginners feel really comfortable putting looks together because a lot of these shades are usable. I know what she did with this. I realize and accept the fact that some people just don't think there's depth there, but I really love it because it is so easy to use and it is so easy to see kind of shades and which colors go with what. I also love that there's more shimmers in this one. Because I'm a shimmer girl, it's important to me. So I do love this one for that. The last palette I'm going to share for Best of 2020 goes to Marc Jacobs. This is my favorite, like, Great Gatsby kind of vibes palette. I just love it. Definitely some mini gold vibes from Natasha Denona, but also has that classic gold vibe. This is the Extravagance palette in his multi-finish iconic eyeshadow range. This is a limited edition palette. You can see it has that gorgeous like gold, like black striping, and this is the color story on the inside. It is stunning, you guys. Everything in this palette is similar to what the other shades I've experienced are. So basically, consistency-wise from other Marc Jacobs palettes, bang on. Shimmers are great, mattes are great. This is one that also has a variety of different glitters and shimmers. There's some that have more of a texture to them and some that are a lot smoother. So there is a little bit of diversity in the shimmer aspect of this one, but I do love how the mattes are very easy to work with, like they're very easy to build up and to blend. Definitely my third best of 2020, and if you're a Marc Jacobs fan, I think you need to add this one to the collection because it's so, so good. All right, guys, now let's talk about the next one, which is bronzers. Oh my goodness, we have some good ones here. Now, I'm going to rank them. There are definitely 3 in here, and I'm going to rank them based on my favorites. I wish I could pick one. I am just completely not doing well with this. I must say. I think too, this is kind of like a bronzer year. If I'm honest, I have seen quite a few bronzer releases, so maybe we can afford to have those extra. The first one, my favorite, standalone. If you want to buy one of them out of the 3, this is the one. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Bronzing Powder. So gorgeous, you guys. This one is the reason why it's so strong in my books is because it blends effortlessly. It's one where you can put this on your brush and honestly, you really can't mess it up because the undertone is so nice. It's very blendable. It just looks like effortlessly natural on the skin. This is one that I would recommend to any level, beginner to expert, because you just can't screw it up. It's just that good. I've used it with denser brushes. I've used it with looser brushes. You don't even have to worry about it. What I will say though is the shade range is a little bit deceiving. This is number 2 medium, so you'd think that this might be in some other lines, maybe more of a light shade. This is her medium shade in the line. So the fair shade for me was really, really light, just so you guys know. But this one, I love this. You get double the product compared to the Airbrush Flawless Setting Powder, so that's amazing. But I'm gonna tell you my second favorite and why it comes in second place. This is the Gucci. This is the new bronzer that they've just released. It is the Eclat Soleil bronzing powder, I believe it's called. The shade I picked up is number 3 medium, and the reason why I put this right behind Charlotte is because this one has slightly less blendability. This is also one that has more of a reddish undertone, so it's one that you have to be more careful with, or it can look very apparently reddy bold on the skin. I also think that number 2 light could have worked for me and probably is the more better match, but number 3 medium I can definitely pull off. I just have to be careful with how much pigment I put on the brush, but this is literally one dab in the pan and you already have pigment punch, and it's one that takes a little bit more blending compared to Charlotte. So careful with this one, because if you do have too much on your brush, it won't be as easy to blend out. Now I'm gonna do my last bronzer, and this is actually new this year too. This is actually a cream bronzer for those of you that are wanting a cream bronzer. This is actually the Tarte cream bronzer, and this is in the shade Seychelles. This is their Breezy bronzer. It is brand new this year, and this one I'm super impressed with because it has a gorgeous bronze color on the skin. Very easy to apply with a beauty blender or a beauty sponge. It's so user friendly, and this is one that also looks very, very natural on the skin. I'm not that much into cream products, and I'm really starting to gravitate towards them now because of good ones like this. Definitely a fantastic cream bronzer and the best cream bronzer of 2020. Okay, now let's talk about blush, and to be honest with you guys, I don't have a new blush of 2020 that is a favorite this year so far, so if you have a blush favorite that was released this year, do let me know. But this one is new to my collection. It's not new this year, but it's new to my collection. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush. It is the mini one. You can see how tiny it is, and it's in the shade Luminous Flush, which has always been on my wish list. Such a gorgeous blush, you guys. I love it's very like glowy and natural. It just melts into the skin so beautifully. You can see it has kind of like a mosaic kind of feel to the blush, and that's what gives the blush some versatility, some diversity. It gives the effect of that gentle glow, that gentle sheen. It's because it has a mosaic pattern in the pan there. It just gives you that like nice mix of the powders together to give you that beautiful result. This little mini is perfect for my brush size. It just fits in there effortlessly. And I love that I can get a mini because they're really expensive full size. So it's nice to actually try a shade out in the mini size and see if you actually like it. Okay, now for highlight, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm actually gonna show you one of my holy grail highlights because I don't think this has been a year of highlights. Unless I'm mistaken and I'm not really paying attention, which is weird. You would think I would pay attention, but I haven't had a highlighter favorite now that I can think of it, to be honest. Nothing best of 2020 anyways that I can think of. Maybe I'm missing something and I hope I'm not. If I am, I will leave it in the description box or I'll put it in a comment here and be like, oh, of course I forgot this. But for some reason I'm drawing a blank. So I'm gonna show you one of my holy grails, and it's the highlight in this Charlotte Tilbury duo. This is the Film Star Bronze and Glow in the shade Fair Medium. There's also a medium deep one, but this is one that I have been using a ton, you guys. Definitely one of my favorite highlights, and I also use this bronzer from time to time. It's a nice cool tone bronzer, so it's nice to travel with this one since you've got both in one compact. But this is definitely like a bestseller from Charlotte and one of the first few products that I would recommend from her line. She has a solid line, of course, but this is a great one because of like basically the two beautiful products in one. The highlight I'm showcasing today though, because it's got a gorgeous like champagne glow to the skin, very nice on the skin, blends in beautifully. This is one that you can do both styles though, subtle or crazy flashy, whichever you want. Now let's get into lip products, and then we have setting spray. I do have some lip products this year that I think are fantastic and some that I think you should definitely consider buying when it comes to a favorite from 2020. Now, I'm going to talk about a certain gentleman here on YouTube who did a release, and this is one that I think is the best lip product so far when it comes to liner, gloss, lipstick, all from one person. He did a fantastic job. This is the Wayne Goss lipstick collection, and I have one of each right now to show you guys, but I think this is definitely the best of 2020 when it comes to lip products so far. I'm going to talk about the liner first. Liner is not something that I'm reaching for a ton, but when I do reach for it, I typically go for a Charlotte Tilbury one, but this is one that I've been reaching for more surprisingly than I thought also. This is the Wayne Goss Essential Lip Pencil. The one I've got is Natural Berry, definitely more of like a berry nude color, so pretty on the lips. It's not as creamy as Charlotte's, but the longevity of this is what makes this stand out because it really stays put, really makes the look of your lipstick or your gloss that you have over top of it just really last a lot longer because of the fact that the lip liner is underneath it to help support it. So I typically don't wear a liner by itself. I will put a gloss or a lipstick over top. This is one that's definitely amazed me and one that I think if you love lip liners, you will definitely love this one. For gloss, I'm going to also highlight the Wayne Goss one. The High Shine Gloss is what his glosses are called. I have Cherry Blossom. So pretty, you guys. Oh, love this. I will say this one has a minty smell, and I know that you guys aren't always interested in that, but if you're not aversive to the mint, it's strong in the bottle and in the doe foot, but when you apply it to the lips, I find that yes, you can smell it as you're applying it, of course, but it does seem to dissipate. I don't notice it after maybe about a few minutes or so, but this is the gloss. It's so pretty, you guys. Definitely a cherry, you know, gorgeous everyday color, has that peachiness. I really love it. I'm also going to put the lip liner beside it so you can see. There we go. Very stunning, everyday shade. Super easy to work with. And then I'm also going to show you guys the creamy lipstick from Wayne Goss also. This is the Luxurious Cream Lipstick in the shade Lily. This is the shade that I picked up. And you can see here it's in the bullet just like this. The packaging is lightweight, so it just depends on your preference. If you want a lightweight package, then hey, you will love this. But for me, I would like a little bit more of a weightiness, but that's just me being really picky, you guys. It does not speak to the quality or anything because the quality is there, the pigment is there. It lasts a lot longer than I thought it would considering how creamy it is. I was really worried it was gonna slip on the lips all the time, but this is Lily right beside everything. So you can see that they all work together too. Obviously the gloss is more of a peachy, but they do work together because I've actually worn all three of them together too. When it comes to lip products, definitely the best of 2020 so far. Okay, now for lipsticks, I do have to talk about one other luxury house from the year of 2020 that I think is fantastic. Now, like I said about this lipstick in the past, it is one that I have felt, unfortunately, that I've had to reapply a little bit more than I would like, but that's the only qualm about it. So it just depends on what you would like and what you'd prefer. But this is the Hermes lipsticks, in particular their satin lipsticks. I have not tried their matte ones, so perhaps the matte ones stay put a little bit more. You'll have to let me know down below if you actually recommend them to me or anything, and I'll pick one up and test it. But this is the satin lipstick in number 18, Rose Encens. I also have Beige Kalahari, which is more of a beige shade. But this, you guys, is kind of the weightiness of a lipstick casing that I'm kind of talking about because it is more weighty in the hand. It does have that more luxurious experience in my books, just comparatively to the Wayne Goss packaging. I'm gonna actually see how close this shade is to the Wayne one because now that I've put it on my skin, it looks really close to Lily. I am queen of buying the same shade over and over again. I hope I am not alone in that, but anyways, let's put Lily right beside. Oh yeah, she close. She's pretty close. Lily is on the right. So you have more of a rose to the Hermes one, which is on the left. Like I said, the qualm of this is the reapplication piece, but I find it's very comfortable on the lips, very pigmented. The only downside is that it moves a little bit, but if you do put a lip liner underneath, it will help that. Like I said, just speaking on the satin lipsticks, that's been my experience. This also too is fragranced, but not as bad as you would think. Now let's talk about the last best of 2020 product. This actually is a setting spray. I don't believe I have forgotten any categories. If so, man, I'm gonna feel really silly. but I don't think I have. Let me know down below if I forgot anything. But this is the setting spray, best of 2020, hands down. It goes to Hourglass. It is the Veil setting spray. This, you guys, is so, so good. It has a very light mist, almost feels like air. It's so, like refreshing on the skin. Also fragrance free. I mean, can I repeat that anymore? Fragrance free, fragrance free. You can never, ever find fragrance free setting sprays. It's a lot harder than you would think. So this is something that if you are aversive to fragrance, you will love. So this is fantastic. I can't say enough good things. It actually feels cool even in the container. Like it just, however it's constructed is fantastic. Definitely kind of like an aerosol-y kind of, product, of course. You shake well and you actually hold it 10 inches away. And 10 inches away is quite a bit. You actually think you can't even feel it on the skin, but it is spraying. Like it's really interesting. The spray of this reminds me of the Morphe spray, but only in the way that the mist is. The Morphe setting spray I didn't like because it was kind of sticky, and also the packaging really broke down on me. Like maybe a week in, it broke down and started getting clogged, and like the spray just wasn't working. But this is one that's kind of lasted the test of time. So sleek Hourglass packaging, gorgeous, gorgeous, luxurious feel. It's very weighty, does the best job in my opinion, has a beautiful way of setting the makeup. So definitely best of 2020. All right, guys, what do you think of all of my best of 2020 favorites? What are your favorites so far this year? Do check out Chelsea's video and support her by subscribing. Go follow her on her socials. She's so, so sweet. You will definitely not regret it. I'm excited to see what she's picked out for this mid-year best of 2020 video that we've done together. And until my next one, guys, take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.
But somewhere there's a light inside of us.